In the year 2012, Oxfam, the well-known charity organization that works on eradicating poverty around the world, they published a report that the amount of poverty there is around the world, in order to destroy poverty, remove poverty from Africa, from Asia, from South America, wherever there's poverty, and they define poverty as three things: lack of food, lack of dwelling, somewhere to stay, at least the night, so you're not destroyed by the weather or by predators. And number three is basic health care. Basic health care, so that a simple cold or a very simple infection, a bacterial infection, does not kill you. So very simple basic health care, very simple basic accommodation, and of course food, right? Food. Availability of food so you can eat every day. Three things is the line of poverty that they describe. How do you destroy it worldwide? How much is it going to cost every human being worldwide? What is the cost of destroying poverty around the world? They said it is only $60 billion US. $60 billion US. At the same time, sounds like a lot of money, but at the same time, what they said was the profit, only the profit of 100 of the world's top billionaires, just the profit of 100 of the world's top billionaires in the year 2012 was $240 billion. Now, all they needed was 25% of their wealth, 25% of their profit only. It doesn't even have to be their capital, just their profit of the year 2012, and we would have destroyed poverty forever for every single human being on the face of this earth. My brothers, my sisters, Islam, welcome to our talk on dunya, money, power, and desire. Because at this point in time, we are at a paradox. We have more wealth than we have ever had, and we are more stingy than we have ever been. And as a result, we have more people that are dying of poverty or needing poverty than we've ever seen, more refugees than we've ever seen, more orphans we've ever seen. Yes, no doubt, we are decreasing extreme poverty worldwide. The number of people that are in extreme poverty as a percentage of the people's population are decreasing. But the reality is, there is so much more wealth than there's ever been. We should actually see a faster decrease and demise in the amount of poverty worldwide. The World Bank published a report of the amount of charitable giving worldwide as a GDP of all the economies of the world. What did they find? They found that the giving of all of the countries equaled 0.3% of their GDPs only. Of the total GDP of the world, it's only 0.3%. What does this mean? It means much lower than even their zakat. Much lower. This is just their GDP. We're not even taking into account their assets. And the much lower than what should be expected of them is being given at this point in time in the cause of Allah Azza wa Jal, or in the cause of helping humanity. And as a result, we have extreme poverty that persists and continues. At the same time, compare this to one more statistic I'm going to give you, which is not about poverty, and that is about how to get rich. And that is about, today Muslimin are all trying to get rich, right? We're all trying to get rich. And don't fool yourselves. Don't say you're after the dunya, after the akhirah. Let's be realistic. You're here studying in this university as well to make halal money, right, guys? Come on, guys. You're not doing it so you can, come on. You know what you want, right? You want to build an Islamic bank. You want to launch an Islamic finance fund. You want to launch a halal pension fund. Whatever, halal, all good, no problem. That's perfectly fine. But let's compare to how many Muslims are actually reaching greatness in the dunya. So if you were to compare people reaching greatness in the dunya, I actually looked into it. So I want to compare two countries. One is UK, one is Australia. I looked into UK, how many Muslim millionaires are there in US dollars. So let's standardize to US dollars because US has helped us in standardizing the US dollars. So let's look at US dollars, millionaires in US dollars. They said 0.45%, 0.45%, less than 1%, or less than half of 1% of UK British Muslims are millionaires. Okay? They are millionaires. Okay? So they have that much net worth. In Australia, it's 0.0045%. Terrible, isn't it? Terrible. So what is it? Even less than a minute of 1%. Okay? Is the number of Muslim millionaires in Australia. Now I want to compare this to Jewish millionaires. How many Jews are millionaires? Now in Australia, they published a report in the Jewish Observer. They said that 37.5% of Jews are millionaires. The others are married to those guys. Okay? So either you're a millionaire or you're married to a millionaire. Right? And this is how wealthy the Jews are. Okay? I'm sure if I looked at UK or Australia or US, I would find similar, if not better, figures for the Jews. Would you agree? Now tell me what's going on. They're seeking the dunya, we're seeking the dunya, but they're getting massively wealthy, whereas we are just like, what the heck is going on? We're not even making money. What's going on? I just read a report yesterday when the new budget came about. Did you hear about the millennials, the new generation, which is probably most of the people over here in the audience? You're all very, very much in debt. Okay, I don't know, of course. It might be that you're wealthy, but you're definitely in debt. And you're wealthy, but you're in debt. You know what I'm trying to say? It's all. They said almost 51% of millennials today, or 57%, they said, in Malaysia are in debt. Everyone has a new car loan. No one's buying a house, by the way, because houses are too expensive, but cars, no. We need our good, Myvi, nice, Myvi, twin-turbo, engine cars, right? And as a result, we are all in debt with the bank. Right, guys? And the new generation, we like our cars. How much are we spending? How much are the Muslims spending now? On average, someone who is getting less than 2,000 ringgit salary a month is spending 30% of their income on food. And I'm like, my God, 600 ringgit on food. What are you guys eating? What are the millennials eating? But they're all eating outside. No one cooks at home. Everyone's eating outside. 31% of their income per month they're spending on food. And when I look at the statistics and the figures, average savings of a Muslim household, in a Malay household in Malaysia is 1 ringgit. Average savings, 1 ringgit. That explains everything. That explains why we don't donate. Because we don't have anything to donate. That explains why we don't invest much. Because we don't have anything to invest much. That explains why we don't launch businesses, because we don't have money to launch businesses. That explains why we can't really go on Hajj and Umrah that much, because we don't have money to go for Hajj and Umrah. And that also explains why we're delaying our marriages, because we don't have money to get married. That explains why fasad and fitna is increasing on this earth. And subhanallah, musibah. So can somebody please explain to me, why are the Muslimin not even getting the dunya when they're so focused on the dunya? They should be getting some of the dunya, right? But the Jews are focused on the dunya, and they are getting the dunya. It can't be a Jewish conspiracy. It can't be like, oh, it's the Jews. It's the Jews. You know, it's the Jews. They control everything. We got to stop giving that as an excuse. Because they have the same. They're same flesh and blood. They also have the same problems as us. Okay, they were also almost nearly destroyed by Hitler. Okay, but they have, within a generation, since being destroyed by Hitler, within a generation of a lifetime, they have now gotten 57% to 37% are millionaires worldwide. What is wrong with the Muslims today that we are neither getting the khair of the dunya, nor are we getting the akhirah, because we're not focusing on the akhirah at all? What is wrong with us, my brothers, my sisters in Islam? I want to tell you a couple of thoughts that I have why we're not getting rich, why Muslims are not getting rich. The first reason is that we're Muslims. Okay? I know you're like, oh, what does that mean? Are you trying to say that Muslims can't get rich? No, I don't mean that. I mean, we've got this war going on in our head. This real jihad in our head that says, you're a Muslim, you can't get rich. Getting rich is for the kuffar. You can't get rich. If you get rich, then that means you can't get the akhirah. Your prophet was poor. The Sahaba, majority of them were poor. The Quran and Sunnah, when you read it, it tells you to shun the world. As a result, we're always fighting in our heads. This war that is going on, this moral dilemma in our head, should we or shouldn't we? And should we make too much profit or shouldn't we? And should we make profit? And then this dilemma is going on in our head. Massive war that is going on in our head all the time, not knowing how far to go, how much money to make. And then this real dilemma in our head, when we do make money, is it correct, and are we doing the right thing? So this is the first thing. And because of this dilemma in our head, we always end up making money for the wrong reasons. If we make money, it's not for Allah. It's actually for the dunya. It's actually for my family, for me to send my kids overseas. So number one reason why we don't make money is because we're doing it for the wrong reasons. The Jews know it's for the dunya. They're not getting the akhirah, so khalas. They're just going to make the best of this dunya, khalas. Us, no, we think we're going to go to Jannah, of course. So as a result, we're in a dichotomy. We don't know what to do. Should we, shouldn't we, should we, shouldn't we? So we don't give it our best. As a result, we are half-hearted in our approaches. Now what, if you guys all wanted to get rich, I know you're all learning about Islamic finance, but what is the number one business you're going to launch if you want to get rich? What is it? It's going to be a mamak. In Australia, it's going to be a pizza shop. In UK, it's going to be a KFC, LFC, TFC, MFC, BFC. Yeah, just a rip-off of KFC. You're going to launch some sort of roast, chicken roast, and that's the most common business Muslims launch today. Or it's going to be a curry shop. Or it's going to be a local pizza shop. That's it, right? Isn't that what you want to launch? And that is our thinking of how to get rich, is the most typical and the most simplest ways of how to make money. So the second reason that we actually don't make money is that most of the Muslimin that actually make money, they made money on a fluke. They did not make it on a formula. They got it on a fluke. They bought property that suddenly was about to go up, and so they made a lot of money. Muslims don't make money on a formula. They don't have a formula of getting rich. They only have fluke. A fluke, I don't know if you use the same term. In Australia, we call fluke is something which is, by chance. By chance, you just made it. You did not make it because you have a strong formula. If you had a strong formula, you would never be afraid. If you have a strong formula, you would never be afraid of losing the money as well. You take bigger risks or you donate the money, but now because you made your money on a fluke, you hold on to it like this is your end of your life. And as a result, you know what? We never make money because we have no formula. And the third thing is that when we do get rich, after we have gotten rich, that we've forgotten where we were. And as a result, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala takes it away from us slowly. Because we've forgotten how we were when we were poor. We forget the poor. And as a result, we are very stingy. Rich Muslims are the most stingiest of people. I can tell you because I work in 36 countries. And I have fundraised in 36 countries. And I'm telling you, rich Muslims do not donate. Rich Muslims do not donate. Rich Malaysians do not donate. Oh yes, they donate, but Sheikh, they do. They're giving money to orphans and they give money. Yes, but as a percentage of the giving, it is minuscule. It's negligible. It's nothing at all. They do not even pay the amount of zakat that is due upon them because they haven't learned about the zakat that is properly due upon them. They don't donate. Millionaires do not donate. Who donates? It is only lower middle class that are living hand to mouth. They are the ones who donate. Mercy Mission raises over, our revenue is over $60 million a year. And most of the money does not come from rich millionaires. Do you know how much of the money comes from rich millionaires? Probably about 2%, 5%. Where does the 95% come from? 95% comes from people who have a salary of 5,000 to 10,000 ringgit. Average salary, right? In Australia it might be $4,000 to $10,000, which is an average salary for an Aussie, for an Australian professional, for example. They're the ones who donate. The rich ones who actually have money, they do not donate. The love of God, they do not donate. If they donate with a lot of stress and pressure. They will donate after they're about to die, then they'll say, oh, my father always wanted to build an orphanage in his name, and then suddenly they'll give 100,000 and they'll think, oh, Allah, enter my dad into Jannah. I mean, do you expect that little sadaqah, after 20 years of so much wealth that you had, that little bit of sadaqah makes up for all your stinginess throughout the world? It doesn't work like. And so as a result, the reality is when we get rich, we do not donate. And this is what is stopping us in my thinking. Wallahu ta'ala alam. First reason, we get rich for the wrong reasons. We don't do it for Allah, we do it for ourselves. Number two, we don't have a formula. We do it on a fluke. We just bought property, and most of you, if you get rich, you will only get rich because of a fluke. You'll end up buying property somewhere in your homeland, in Indonesia or Mumbai or somewhere else that you're from, and then suddenly property will go up because property is always going up, and as a result, you're going to make some money, and then you think, MashaAllah, Allah loves me. But the reality is you did it on a fluke, not on a formula. And number three, when you get rich, you will not donate. You will withhold. My great-grandfather, may Allah have mercy upon him, where his land was is where the current airport is in Bangladesh. Now I should be, why the hell is Tawfeeq still driving a simple car? Why isn't he driving like a star-studded, diamond-studded BMW or Maybach? You know, why am I riding a simple Hyundai? Why am I doing that when my grandfather's land has the airport built on it now? You know why? Because there's no barakah in our wealth. Because we didn't do it for Allah, thieves came and stole it. My grandfather had acres of prime property everywhere around Bangladesh. I should have been a multi-billionaire. We never saw that wealth. And each and every one of you, look into your life. How many of you have actually benefited from the wealth of your great-grandfathers? Have you really benefited? Some of you might be really wealthy. Some of you might have had lots of wealth, but you don't benefit. Why? Because actually the wealth of your great family, Allah have mercy upon them, forgive us, never really benefited us. First, it wasn't gotten for Allah. Second of all, they never donated enough. Third of all, they left their wealth, they did not distribute it before their death, and so their children divided over it. And as a result, they can't even finish that court case in the courts, and as a result, the wealth still is undivided. Before we know it, someone unscrupulous has taken that wealth, because now we don't live back in Bangladesh, India, Pakistan, or Nigeria, wherever you're from. We now live in Australia, we now live in Malaysia, we live in a different country. So someone else is now taking over that property, slowly but surely. So my brothers and sisters in Islam, this is a massive issue. Massive issue. We are in danger of not getting the dunya, and we are definitely in danger of not getting the akhirah. We are in some serious danger right now, unless we change our way and we change what we are doing. And I want to tell you about the fact that the Sahaba and many of the righteous scholars of Islam were very different. I want to give you the example of a man called Zubair ibn Awam. Zubair ibn Awam was a great Sahabi, well known for his valor and his strength. No one would dare come to his house or dare to steal because he was such a valiant soldier of Islam. So people would always want to keep money in his house because, Zubair was always protected. His house was always protected. Even his wife, they were afraid of. Even Abdullah bin Zubair, his son, they were afraid of, because Abdullah bin Zubair was like his father, massively, brave and courageous. So everyone used to give money to him. So initially Zubair used to take and he used to dig up the back of his house, and he used to keep, where else would you keep money that time? There was no safes. So he would dig up the back of his ground and he would keep money therein. But more and more people came with gold and silver in order to keep. So he said, you know what? I can't do that. Consider it a loan. Give it to me as a loan. Whenever you need it, come and get it from me, because I always have enough money, alhamdulillah. So they started to give him as a loan. First Muslim bank started. He was the first Muslim bank, Zubair ibn Awam. When he died, he had 4 wives. When he died, he had 4 wives, and he had many, many children. I don't know how many exact children he had, but we know that he had 4 wives. How much do wives get in inheritance when they have children? Anyone? 1/6. No, 1/6 is for the father and the mother. 1/8 if you have children. If you don't have children, it's 1/4, right? If you have children, 1/8. Okay, the lowest amount that a woman can ever get is 1/8. So their wives, he had 4. That means 1/8 divided by 4, that's 1/36, correct? And he left how much money? $57.4 million in our wealth for each one of his wives. Will somebody tell me how much wealth he left behind in inheritance? Please. Take your calculator out, times 36 times $57.4 million in our currency. What do you get? Somebody? Don't tell me it's like my calculator cannot even tell me the figure. Somebody tell me what it is. 36 times 57.4 million. What do you get? How much you get? Come on. How many billion? Come on, girls.
2 zeros.
2066? 2066. So 2 trillion, is that right? Okay, times it by 1.3. Times it by 1.3. Why 1.3? 1.33. Reason is because he left 33% of his wealth as a sadaqah, which is to be taken out before it's divided. Okay, as-thuluth wa thuluth kathir. Remember, so close to $3 trillion he left behind as inheritance. Best of his dunya wal akhirah. Ya ayyuhal masakin. Ayyuhal masakin, and me included amongst you. The speaker and the spoken to are both really poor at the moment. Why is it that we are not getting the best of the dunya and the akhirah? Why is it that the Sahaba, like Zubair ibn Awam, got the best of the dunya and the akhirah? Why? Why? What's wrong? What's going on? What are you doing wrong? Why aren't you making money? Why can't you leave even $1 million for your wives or for your children? Why can't you? You're in danger not even leaving that because you're not. What's going on? Well, let me tell you about this Sahabi called Abdurrahman ibn Auf. Another Sahaba, only Sahaba who had double-story building in Medina. You want a double-story building, don't you? Of course you do. Of course you do. Otherwise your wife will divorce you. You need a double-story building. So, double-story buildings, guys. Only one who had it in Medina was Abdurrahman ibn Auf. The Prophet ﷺ used to accept the wufud, which is the messengers, in the house of Abdurrahman ibn Auf. And when they used to come, he used to accept them because, he had a grand house, alhamdulillah, that was where he would accept them. So Abdurrahman ibn Auf, was reported that he made so much money that he had cornered the horse merchant, he had cornered the horse business, the horse selling business in all of Arabia. No one would buy horses from anyone except Abdurrahman ibn Auf. And that's not because he used unscrupulous practices to gain ascendancy, rather it was just he built trust with the people by being very ethical in the way he sold the horses. So he became very wealthy. It was reported that towards the end of his life, when Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha was in Medina, once she felt an earthquake, something trembling. So she looked out and she said, earthquake in Medina, earthquake. He said, no, ya al-Mu'mineen, that's not earthquake. That is the caravan of Abdurrahman ibn Auf that is coming from Syria. So she looked out and she saw 12,000 camels that were coming from Syria, 12,000 camels. How many cars do you have, by the way? Do you even have a car? Not yet? Okay, I'm not trying to rub it in, by the way, guys. So this is a Sahabi who's going to go to Jannah, inshallah. Why is he going to go to Jannah? Because Allah says in the Quran, إِنَّ الَّذِينَ سَبَقَتْ لَهُم مِنَّا الْحُسْنَى أُولَٰئِكَ عَنْهَا مُبْعَدُونَ. Verily, those who has preceded goodness to us from us to them, they are far away from it, from the fire. That's why if it hasn't said, this verse is the evidence that all the Sahaba are in Jannah. Okay, this verse is an evidence that all the Sahaba are in Jannah, inshallah. Okay, so we think Abdurrahman ibn Auf will be in Jannah, inshallah ta'ala, according to the tafsir of this verse. Right, guys? So, Abdurrahman ibn Auf, 12,000 horses, 12,000 camels, all of them laden with silk and perfume and gold and silver. All of them coming from Syria, so much so that the caravan, as it's coming, it's creating a bit of an earthquake and trembling on the ground in Medina. So Aisha radiallahu ta'ala said, he said, Subhanallah, I heard Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam saying that I saw Abdurrahman ibn Auf crawling into Jannah from the amount of questions Allah asked him on the Day of Judgment because the amount of money Allah had given him. So at that point, Abdurrahman ibn Auf heard that statement of Aisha, and he said, I swear by Allah, all of this wealth, Ya Rabbi, all the 12,000 camels and everything on the back is for you. Oh Allah, let me enter into Jannah walking, not crawling. My brothers and sisters in Islam, look at their attitude, look at our attitude. Look at their attitude, leaving trillions of dollars, billions of dollars for the sake of Allah. Look at our attitude, masakeen. We're running after the akhirah, we're not even going to get it, most probably. What is the difference? What is stopping us? Why are we going to perpetually be doomed into this life of poverty where we don't even make enough wealth, and so we will never probably even build a masjid? Perhaps we'll do it by some sort of mercy from Allah. Perhaps we'll help some orphans by some mercy from Allah. But today we're an ummah of 1.4 billion. We're a huge ummah. We need a lot more money. We need to help a lot of people. We have billions of people that are in need of Islam. We have hundreds of millions of orphans They estimated worldwide over 165 million orphans worldwide, guys. 165 million orphans out of 7 billion people. We have over 600,000 of our 1.4 billion are actually poor Muslims that don't even have food to eat every day. So we need to make a lot of money. Don't be silly. I'm not coming here and saying, therefore, guys, give it up. I'm not going to make money. Yalla, go to itikaf, perpetual itikaf, go and join the tabligh, something or the other. Yeah, stop studying, go into khuruj. You might as well, not going to make money anyway. You might as well just drown yourself in some curry or something else. Drown yourself in some musibah. But the reality is there must be a different way. Let me tell you about the great scholars of Islam. So Sahaba, perhaps you're thinking, okay, they had a different mysterious way of getting rich. Oh, let's talk about the Sahaba. So let's talk about the scholars of Islam. Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, you all know him. And many of you come from countries where the asl is the Hanafi madhab. Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah, was well known to be a rich man until he supported over 1,000 of his students. His major students were actually orphans that he supported himself from his wealth. How did Abu Hanifa achieve such amazing strength in his leadership in Islam as well as in the dunya? What did he do? Imam Muslim, it was reported that he was a very wealthy cloth merchant. Until it was reported Imam Muslim actually died from overeating. He died from overeating because he ate too much dates. He was searching for a hadith. He kept on eating dates, kept on eating dates before he actually became too full and he didn't realize, and then he just went to sleep and vomited in his sleep when he passed away, rahimahullah, from eating too much. Though he wasn't a very fat man, but he ate too much dates, so just be careful, don't eat too much dates. So Imam Muslim was a very wealthy cloth merchant. And today, Muslims, Sahih Muslim, none of us can ever, really go to the Sunnah of the Prophet. How much hadith would we lose if we didn't have Sahih Muslim, right? Nasa'i. Do you all know Nasa'i, Imam Nasa'i? Rahimahullah, Imam Nasa'i, well-known chicken merchant, right? Until Imam Nasa'i was so fat that actually the Shia killed Imam Nasa'i, rahimahullah. They said they had to have 12 men on top of Imam Nasa'i. This is how big he was. 12 men on top of him, bashing him up. Rahimahullah passed away from abuse of the Shia. But how did he get so rich? That's what we want to know. I mean, we don't want to talk about his weight loss problems. That's something else. I don't want to also talk about his hadith, which is excellent. They said hadith in a hadith, Imam Nasa'i was stronger than Imam Muslim in his brilliance of hadith. Okay, we don't want to talk about that as well. But we want to talk about how did he get so rich. Imam Nasa'i, rahimahullah, had the biggest chicken farm in all of Damascus, and his chicken were the best chicken. And even KFC would buy from him. And and what he would do is he would take a needle and he would poke out the genitals of the chicken as they would be growing up. So the chicken, you take the cocks, the male chicken, and he would poke out the genitals. So he would say that the chicken would grow up half male, half female. And he would say that is the most tender, juicy chicken. I don't know, that's what he used to say. He wrote in his book that is the way to make chicken tender and juicy. So anyone who has ideas about a chicken farm, perhaps you can use Imam Nasa'i's idea and strategy. So Imam Nasa'i, rahimahullah, raised these chicken who were half male, half female. I know you might have some strange behavior about eating those chicken, but anyway. Imam Nasa'i's chicken were the best chicken in all of Damascus. So he became extremely wealthy, very wealthy, but that never let him take away from writing a book today that we know as Sunan Nasa'i, which is one of the 6 books that we all depend on for the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Isn't that right, guys? Right. Let me tell you about Al-Wazir ibn Hubayra. Have you heard of this man? Al-Wazir ibn Hubayra? Al-Wazir, he was called Al-Wazir because he is Al-Wazir. Al-Wazir means he was a minister. He was killed by the evil people who poisoned him. Ala kulli hal, he was a great scholar of the Hanbali madhab. He was to the level of Wazir, meaning he had so much wealth, so much money, that he would even support the whole dawla or whole kingdom. The king or the Khalifa appointed him as a minister because of his wealth. Al-Wazir ibn Hubayra, he was an amazing scholar of Islam, wrote so much, very intelligent. In fact, if you learn this, the Hanbali madhab, you will hear many of them are Qala al-Wazir, Qala al-Wazir, Qala al-Wazir, because he is such an influential figure in the Hanbali madhab, that much knowledge and wisdom that he carried. Also Siddiq Hasan Khan, have you heard of this man, Siddiq Hasan Khan? You haven't heard of him? You should hear of him because he is one of the great scholars of the Indian Pakistani subcontinent. Upon Ahl Sunnah, married a princess, extremely filthy wealthy, so wealthy, but he spent his time studying Fathul Bari. He was very infatuated with Shawkani, very infatuated with Ibn Hajar. He was perhaps the greatest Indian Pakistani subcontinent scholar of Shawkani and Ibn Hajar rahimahullah, and he translated their books into local languages, and he also added on and made additions to many of their books. Siddiq Hasan Khan, very wealthy, huge alim of the Ummah. Mansa Musa, anyone heard about Mansa Musa? Well, he's only the richest man that ever lived in the world. You haven't heard of Mansa Musa? You heard of Mansa Musa? Where are you from?
From Nigeria.
Nigeria. How did you hear of Mansa Musa? He's not from Nigeria. He's from close by Nigeria called Ivory Coast. So the richest man that ever lived on this earth is not Warren Buffett. Richest man is not Tim Cooks or Steve Jobs or Bill Gates. The richest man that ever lived on the face of this earth, ever lived on the face of this earth, we don't know Sulaiman alayhi salam's wealth, but the richest man, according to our historical records, was a man called Mansa Musa. He was a black man. He was a black king of Ivory Coast. The richest man that ever lived on the face of this earth. He built 1,000 masjids, many of which still exist today. Righteous in his behavior. Went for Hajj and Umrah. Wherever he went, he looked after thousands of people. They said he took hundreds of thousands for Hajj with him every time he went for Hajj. The most richest man that ever lived was a Muslim, guys. It wasn't a Kafir. It wasn't a non-Muslim. You don't have to use non-Muslim strategies to get rich. You can be a Muslim and get filthy wealthy as well. You know, Sulaiman did it, alayhi salatu. Mansa Musa wasn't a prophet of God. He did it. So what is going on? I've just told you examples of some people who have perhaps the best of the dunya and best of the akhirah as well. Right? What about us, masakeen, who are trying to achieve good in this dunya and the akhirah? How is it that we are not able to get rich and become different? I'm going to tell you 5 things today. 5 things that I want you to really change in your mind about getting rich. Okay? And about wealth. 5 things that will perhaps help you to the rest of your life in this game that you are now all involved in trying to get the best of this dunya and perhaps some piece of the akhirah as well. Number 1, the first reason why I believe Muslimin do not get rich is because Allah Azza wa Jalla uses different principles with Muslimin. We are Muslimin. We are Muslimin. We have decided to say La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah. So we have different criteria Allah applies to us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if He punishes, He will punish us first. Why? Because you know, when something goes wrong, if the family, in my family for example, everyone's there, and then Ibrahim, who is the young one, destroys the house because he's doing it dirty, who do I blame first? Do I blame Ibrahim? Or do I blame Yusuf, my eldest? Who do I blame first? Who would you blame first, guys? You wouldn't blame the youngest, right? You usually blame the eldest because, hey, what's your problem? Didn't you look after Ibrahim? So Allah Azza wa Jal, here, we're going to be blamed first. We're going to be destroyed first. We're going to be punished first because at the end of the day, we have been entrusted with a amana and a trust. كُنْتُمْ خَيْرَ أُمَّةٍ أُخْرِجَتْ لِلنَّاسِ. Best of mankind revealed to lead the rest of mankind. So we have been created to be lords and leaders, not as followers. And as a result, we are going to be tested by Allah first, and different criteria will apply to us. Whereas for others, Allah will give them dunya as they want. If they strive for the dunya, they'll get it. For us, we can only get the dunya one way. As Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said in the narration from him, I work only 2 months in a year now in Australia. I work 2 months in a year. I spend 10 months in Malaysia where I don't work. I do work, meaning the da'wah, but I don't work in medicine. That's my income source. But I have more money now. I live in a better house. I have more wealth. I eat far better food than I ever have when I used to work 8 months, 9 months as a senior registrar in the emergency department in Gold Coast Hospital, making 150,000, about $500,000 ringgit a year. salary. I make more money now working 2 months. How is that? Well, you see, when you work for Allah, Allah decreases your costs. When you work for Allah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes things easy for you. I wanted to buy a car the other day. And obviously, because of working 2 months, I didn't have a car. But you know what? Someone offered me their car and said, Sheikh, pay me in installments over a large amount of time, right? So you see, do you see how Allah makes it possible? A person comes to Sheikh, you're working for Allah's cause. Here you go, I've got an idea for you how to make money. Here's a property you can make quickly. If you have a $50,000, flip it over, you'll get 120 back. Opportunities come to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? Opportunities come to you if you work for Allah. Opportunities come to you if you work for Allah. So my suggestion, please, for the sake of Allah, is change your mentality from a millionaire mentality that holds the wealth and invest it to a billionaire mentality. In fact, I'll be starting a training program. It's one of the things I want to do. Alhamdulillah, Mercy Mission, we've done a lot of things. We've launched schools, we've launched TV channels, we've launched Zakat Institutes and others. One of the things I'm about to launch now, inshallah, is a university, inshallah. So soon you'll see a Mercy Mission University launching in Malaysia very soon, inshallah. So I'm securing land now, we've gotten permission. We'll be launching our university soon. Then after that, inshallah, one of the things I've always said to myself is I want to help 10,000 good practicing Muslims to become multi-millionaires. Okay, good practicing Muslims that Iman in their heart, Allah in their heart, to make lots of money, and then inshallah they will help themselves, they'll become strong, and they'll help the ummah, wherever they want to help the ummah, inshallah. And I'm going to do it because today we need that wealth in the hands of good people, not in the hands of bad people. You understand? Inshallah, this is a program I'm going to launch. So in 2 years' time, you'll see Tawfeeq talking about this. And this is all so that I can help you navigate how to get rich, the halal ways of getting rich, how to make money, and use it for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That's the billionaire mentality, not the millionaire mentality. Number 3, get rich on a formula, not a fluke. Muslims get rich on a fluke. They find an opportunity, and as a result, they make money from that. And then so they're afraid. They hold on to the money because they don't know how they made it. If you have a strategy of how to get rich, you will make. How do you get rich? How can you do it on a formula, not a fluke? Number 1 is education. Can I ask you, how much do you spend on your education every year? How much do you spend on education every year on how to make money? I spend $10,000 each year on how to make money. And I don't call it money meaning to get rich. No, I call it oxygen for the dawah. Oxygen for the dawah. You understand? So I spend $10,000 learning about it every single year. I'll attend courses about real estate investment. I'll attend courses about financial prudency. I'll attend courses about how to make money from bitcoins. I'll attend Maverick courses. I'll attend professional courses. I'll attend webinars. Do you understand what I'm saying? How much do you study? Do you study? You probably don't. And that's why when you have money, when Allah does give you money, you're probably going to waste it because you don't know what is the best way. And remember, how to make money 5 years ago is no longer relevant. Things are changing. Economy is changing. You've got to keep it relevant to the times. Yes or no, guys? So you need to invest in education. You're investing in education right now. That's a good investment of your time and wealth. Good investment. This is a good place to study. And also, the education that you're getting outside is also good investment. In the same way, why do you want to make money when you haven't gained knowledge about it? So rule number 3 is get rich on a formula, not a fluke. Let me give you 2 ideas that I got from 2 billionaires. Okay, I spoke to 2 billionaires. I don't speak to millionaires anymore. I don't like them. They're stingy people anyway. And their strategy is just 10%, 15%, real estate investment. So it's like, you know what, I know that. My grandma knows that. My grandma is probably a multi-millionaire by now because she just hasn't sold her property. No. Okay, so she's taught me buy property. So why do I need to even listen to these millionaires? I need billionaires. So I spoke to 2 billionaires. Okay, I'm going to listen. Are you listening? Are you guys listening? You want to know how he made money? Okay. So one of them said, this is Ali Tahyan. So he was the one who did Medina University 4 years before me, and he made more money than I've ever made. So he goes to me. I said, Sheikh, I'll tell you how I made money. I said, tell me. He said, I invested in property 100 kilometers away from main cities, not tier 1 cities, tier 2 cities. So not Kuala Lumpur tier 1, tier 2 city Penang. I looked at future projections. Is the city growing north, south, east, west? Then 100 kilometers on the main road, I bought property, sat on it for 7 years, my property went up 10 times. Then I sat on it for another 7 years, went up another 4 or 5 times, I made 40 times the wealth in 15 years on just one piece of wealth. So he said, I just bought the other day, he gave examples, he said, I bought the other day 1 million square meters of property, 1 million square meters for 3 ringgit per square meter. Where did you buy it? I bought it in Indonesia. Indonesia, you bought 1 million square meters. Yeah? For how much? 3 ringgit. Okay, and then what happened? He said, this was about 5 or 6 years ago. He said, recently I sold it. I sold 500,000. I sold 500,000 for 30 million ringgit because it went up 10 times. Right? 30 million, he still got 500,000 left. And with that 500,000, with that 30 million, I launched 2 Indonesian TV channels. I built schools and orphanages with another 10 million, and the other 5 million I kept for myself for expenditure. Expenditure, you need money, when you're like that. You need money. So 500,000, 5 million for expenditure. With the other 5 million, I bought from Bandung, 100 kilometers from Bandung, I bought 5 million square meters. Hang on, what did you do? You bought another 5 million here. Because that within a few years, after I spend my 5 million, that will go up again. So he's like, this is the most easiest way to get rich. I said, hey, that means are you telling me not to buy homes and then wait for the capital appreciation of 10 to 15% with some mercy from Allah if that increases, and then all those adverts that come on my face, please buy property, it's going to go up, internal rate of return of 7%, it's going to go up, blah, blah, blah. He said, yeah, that's the stupidest thing you could do in life. I said, you know what, slap me here right now. Give me a slap, right now. Wake me up. But this is what we're doing. We are falling into the trap. Do you understand? So you see what I'm saying? A formula of getting rich. So he doesn't care, he'll sell off. He said, tomorrow, I said, tomorrow, Sheikh, if I'm launching a TV channel, will you help me? He said, yeah, I'll just sell 100,000 square meters somewhere. I'll give you all the money. Khalas, take it, man. No big deal. I was like, man, this is just like a different world, different paradigm we live in. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yet he waits for time like this. He said, now is when I go out buying property. When everyone's not buying, yes, right time to buy. So he goes out buying now when everyone is withholding, and he sells when everyone wants to buy. Okay? Do you see what he did? Another guy, another one, his name is Khalid. La ilaha illallah. He doesn't even know he owned it in the first place. This is how wealthy he is. $23 million is his net wealth worldwide. How the hell did he make that much money? Ask him. You must have your wife must be a princess. Your mother must be the queen. You must have kidnapped the king. Something or the other you've done in your life. Tell me the truth. He said, no, wallahi, I started off with 300,000 Saudi riyals 15 years ago. 300,000. How did you make multi-billions? He said, this is what I did. Are you listening, guys? Are you all listening? Now you're listening. See, now you want to listen. Okay. So, this is how we make money. He said, I started with 300,000. So I said, you know what? I need something to turn over quickly. So I said, okay, property is fine. So I went out there. What does everyone do? What are you going to do if I give you 300,000? You're going to buy a piece of land, or you're going to buy a property. Then what's the typical thing you're going to do? I'll tell you what you're going to do. You're going to sit on it for 2, 3, 4 years, capital appreciation, 10%, 20%, and then you're going to sell it after 50% capital appreciation. Then you're going to be very happy. Alhamdulillah, I didn't pay the capital appreciation tax. Yeah, and then alhamdulillah, you're going to think like, wow, I made a lot of money, 50% more than what I invested. But you forget inflation, you forget devaluation of the currency, you've forgotten all of that. That's not relevant anymore. What's relevant is you made 50% more. Does that make sense? That's what you're going to think. What did he do? He said, no, I said I'm going to do exactly the opposite of what people do. So what do people do? They sit on it for 2 years. I'm going to sit on it for 1 month. I said, what? Exactly. You're also thinking, what? I said, yeah, 1 month. So I just sat on it for 1 month, and I sold the 300,000 property for 305,000. But Khalid, it's not making sense. You're making only 5%, only like 5%, like not even 5%, 2%. He said, yeah, that's okay. I'm happy with it. I said, what do you mean you're happy with it? He said, get your calculator out. Do 5%, turned over 12 times or 6 times, compared to 10% turned over once. What do you get? So I actually did it. Actually came to 25%. So that's when he taught me the power of compound. Okay, compounding actually increases faster than linear growth. Next thing he taught me, the second thing he taught me is guess what happened in the market because I was always buying and selling. And every time I bought and sold, everyone in the market knew Khalid buys and sells. So anyone who had something that wanted to sell, right, they knew they would come to me, they came to me. So therefore, no longer was I making 5%, I was making 10%, 15% on each property. You understand? Because I became known as the guy who buys and sells all the time. Everyone else is like sitting on it. No, I am the buyer and seller. So anyone who needs quick cash, easy to give 10% below market rate, 15% because he needs the cash right now, he will sell it to me. So I used to buy when no one else would buy. And as a result, I make faster, quicker returns, faster, and make more money. So you see, he has a formula. You understand what I'm saying? The other day, we know Mr. Khalid, this man, he gives away billions in charity. Just like that, billions in charity, just like that. Africa, Nigeria, many of the universities in Africa launched by him. One man can have this much impact. Right? What is his trick? He learned a formula. So learn a formula, not a fluke. Are you clear about that, guys? You got it? And not millionaires. They are useless. Go for billionaires who understand how to make money quickly, faster, halal. Halal ways. Right, guys? You just have to think different. Okay, number 4. Muslim strategies of getting rich. Use that. Because Allah is going to only hold you accountable to Islam. The Prophet ﷺ said, whoever wants to get rich, let him get married. Are you guys married? No. Most of you are married? Inshallah, you're married. Some of you are like smiling. You're not married. That's why you're not rich. Because the Prophet said, if you want to get married, if you want to get rich, get married. I know you're thinking, Sheikh, doesn't make sense. You know, marriage is expensive. Marriage is mahar. Marriage is two mouths to feed. Actually, your new wife doesn't eat much. The food for one is enough for two. Because usually when you marry, they're young, they're 20 years old. They don't eat much. They're still, food for one is enough for two. One bed is enough for two. One room is enough for two. Actually, it doesn't increase that much. When I got married, my house was saying, my cost of living was saying, it cost me the same to live as an adult as it did with myself and my wife. And in fact, I had more help now. I had a person who encouraged me. I had a person who supported me. I had someone who helped me concentrate on my work. Yes? And that frees up more time, that makes you more productive. So marriage, guys, is very important. If you're not married, not going to get rich. This is the Muslim way of getting rich. The Prophet also said, whoever wants to get rich, let him do Hajj. But Sheikh, Hajj is $10,000. It's too expensive. It's too expensive. Yes, but the Prophet said, trust the Prophet. Trust the Prophet. My suggestion is trust Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay? Ma naqasa balu min sadaqah. The Prophet's strategy, getting rich. Give sadaqah, get rich. Give sadaqah, get rich. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Islam, many things of Islam don't make sense. But this is why ذَلِكَ كِتَابُ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ هُدًى لِلْمُتَّقِينَ الَّذِينَ يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْغَيْبِ, believes in the unseen. Because success is with Allah. All victory is with Allah. How many from the كَمْ مِنْ فِئَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِئَةٍ كَثِيرَةً بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. Okay? قُلْ إِنَّ النَّصْرَ بِيَدِ اللَّهِ. Verily the victory is in the hands of Allah. How many small armies defeated greater armies? So all of this shows that it is all about winning Allah's favor. Are we clear about this, guys? Use Muslim strategies of getting rich. Otherwise, we Muslimin, we're doomed. We will never get rich. And last one. Knowledge before action. Beware of sins. The number one thing that stops Muslimin from getting rich is our sins. The Prophet ﷺ said, nothing stops a person from his wealth from coming to him except his dhunub. So therefore, tawbah brings on our wealth. You want to get rich, make lots of tawbah. All the time, astaghfirullah. You've got to get rich. And if you want to stop the wealth from coming to you, keep your dhunub up. Keep your sins up. Then that is going to ensure that you will not get rich. So, become more pious. Become more knowledgeable. Learn the deen. Guys, I'm telling you, I've only gotten rich by learning Islam. I have not gotten rich by learning about how to use non-Muslim strategies, how to get rich. I'm telling you, it hasn't worked for Muslimin. It doesn't work for Muslimin. It doesn't work, guys. The only way Muslimin can get wealthy is by Allah's way, because we are Muslimin. And that is why my suggestion, my sincere hope is that you listen to what I'm saying and understand that this is the way for you to get strong. Finally, Ikhwati, remove this idea and thought in your mind that the dunya is evil. Okay, what is evil is not the dunya. What is evil is wanting the dunya, desiring it. Okay, it's not the world that is evil, it's worldliness. You understand what I mean by that? It's covetedness of the dunya. It's desiring the dunya that is wrong, not the dunya itself. The dunya comes to you, use it. But desiring the dunya, what did, in the story of Sulaiman, just before he asked Allah Azza wa Jal for tremendous wealth, what happened? So, 1,000 horses were brought out. Okay? فَطَفِقَ مَسْحًا بِالسُّوقِ وَالْأَعْنَاقِ. What did he do? He rubbed their necks and he rubbed their hooves and he was amazed. And then what happened was that took him away from Asr Salah or dhikr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Then what did he do? He actually slaughtered all the horses. In Surah Sa'd, the story of Sulaiman slaughtered all the horses that he loved for the sake of Allah. The only reason why is because he didn't want worldliness to creep into his heart. That's when he made tawbah to Allah. That's when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him the wealth. The point I'm trying to make to you all, Ikhwani, is come closer to Allah Azza wa Jal, realize that this wealth itself is not evil. What is evil is our hearts that desire it. And if we can use it for the right reasons, Allah will give it to us, inshallah. Okay? And one of the reasons perhaps Allah is not giving it to us is because we want it for the wrong reasons. Perhaps Allah is saving us from more questioning on the Day of Judgment. Does that make sense? As Allah Hassan al-Basri used to say, why don't you like making money? He said, if it's haram, then fear the fire. If it's halal, then fear the question. Yeah, fear the question. And so as a result, but the reason why I'm telling you to go for it is only so that the ummah is in desperate need at the moment. We're dying, guys. 4.3 million refugees in Europe. They're becoming Christian now, guys, because we don't have anyone to feed them. I know we look after, Muslim Mission looks after 7,000 refugees. Recently we went to Greece to look after them, and we have no money to look after them. I can't keep on asking everyone for it. 1.3 million Syrian refugees in Greece are being converted one by one. 1 million refugees in Germany are being converted one by one. Ikhwani, we're losing our people, man. So we need strength. We need good people to become strong. Okay? So learn how to make wealth and money and give it to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Ask Allah Azza wa Jal to make us of those people who have lots of strength and power in this world, so that we use it for the sake of Allah. رَبَّنَا جَلَّ جَلَالُهُ وَتَقَدَّسَتْ أَسْمَاؤُهُ. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make all of us here people who Allah blesses with halal wealth that benefits them in this dunya and the akhirah. To not be of those people who are stingy. To be of those people who donate in the cause of Allah, such that they give with the right hand that the left hand does not even know. Such that they have more left for them in the akhirah, Ya Rabbal Alameen. I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make us of those people who Allah uses for His cause. Instruments of His vision in this dunya, to make us people that enact the vision of Allah Azza wa Jal through us. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just 3 minutes of your time. At each and every one of your seat, you'll find that there's 2 flyers that contains information for a few of our upcoming events that Muslim Mission is organizing. One of them is the Twins of Faith 2016, which we'll be doing on the 17th and 18th December at PICC. And the theme of that conference in itself is the topic of the discussion today, inshallah, which is money, power, and desire. So we're going to be exploring a lot more details in terms of how to make wealth, how do we deal with our desire, how do we deal with power, and there will be a strong lineup of speakers as well that will be sharing their knowledge and grace the presence during the conference itself. We have the likes of Sh Tawfeeq himself, and we have a couple of new ones like Sheikh Halal, Sheikh Fadi Kablawi, and so forth. You'll find the details of the speakers list at the back of the flyers. So do check out. And the price of the tickets, it's 147 per ticket, which is the early bird price. The normal price, the full price is 227. So I would really recommend that you guys grab this opportunity to actually buy the tickets now. In fact, just for this event, exclusively for this event, you guys can purchase, if any of you buy 3 tickets and above, inshallah, we'll be more than happy to offer you 127 per ticket, inshallah, just for this event, inshallah. And the other bit as well is the Al Kawthar event, which we're going to be doing on the 5th and 6th November 2016, which will be conducted by Sh Tawfeeq as well. It's called the A to Z of Love and Mercy, the Faith of Marriage and Divorce. It's going to be at UM, I believe, somewhere in UM. So do check out the event. So anyone who's bought the ticket for Twins of Faith, you'll be eligible for to buy the AK ticket at 150 ringgit. So it's 100 ringgit discount from the normal price. So the booths are outside. So if you want any information at all, feel free to speak to us, inshallah, after this event. Thank you so much. Jazakallah khairan. Subhanakallah wa bihamdika, asyhadu an la ilaha illa anta, astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much to Sheikh Tawfeeq for his share of knowledge, and I do believe that we have benefited from the talk. And we pray to Allah, may Allah help Al-Fadil, Dr. Sheikh Tawfeeq and his team to keep assisting, helping our Muslim brothers, opportuning our Muslim brothers. And we do hope that may Allah make us rich for the sake of Him, and we will be also assisting any mission to develop our Muslim brothers all over the world, inshallah. And as a token of appreciation, we would like to pass on some of our publications to Sheikh Finance. For that, I would like to call on Sa'id Khair to pass on our books to the Sheikh. Jazakumullah khairan kathira. And for the Sheikh, will not be able to join for the prayer here because he still need to leave immediately after this talk. But they do have some counters out on that for us to have a look. I mean, what are the things that they are promoting to us, and hopefully we can join one of the programs that organized by Al-Kawthar, inshallah. And once again, may Allah bless all of us. May Allah bless Father Sheikh for his works towards Muslim Ummah. May Allah is Father Sheikh and all the states. Okay, thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.